we are Africa's second highest tweeting nation. We're second only to South Africa. We're ahead of Nigeria, we're ahead of Egypt, which is a surprise. But it shows you how Kenyans have taken to social media and how you can expect the numbers to move in the next year or two. Interestingly, 57% of those tweets are from mobile phones. Okay, so mobile phones are the things that are creating this phenomenon. So this is the point. When we talk about social media, for most of you, there's probably a conversation going on about your business on social media as you sit here. If your business is of a certain size and your brand has any sort of traction out there, I have no doubt it's being discussed by somebody somewhere. If it becomes a very good or a very bad sentiment, it will gain traction. It will do the rounds very fast. So the question for you really is, would you allow conversations about your brand to happen where you do not participate? Where you're not aware of what is going on, where people can say what they like, where nobody is calming the waters. That's the thing before you. How much can you avoid this? It's not really about the return on investment, it's about the cost of ignoring this.
Today, there is a huge number of people online, as you've seen from a lot of the statistics that Sunny has given. And we moved from the basic connectivity where we had very rudimentary browsers, there was no multimedia, that was basically the web, World Wide Web. Then we went to Web 2.0. And in Web 2.0, you started seeing now other more interesting things. So the interaction became better. You had video being made available. You could begin to chat real time with people. And so there was a bit more engagement. But in many cases, it was something that was happening either in the IT department of organizations, and it wasn't as serious for businesses. I don't need to repeat a lot of what Sunny has said, but for businesses, now you cannot ignore, one, the internet, and you cannot ignore social. And why is that? So if you look at a company like Google, today the company is doing about $45 billion turnover. But it is a directory. All the company does is get information of all the different sites that exist in the world, rank those sites, and people are able to go and then find the information that they're searching for. So there are two things that you get online. One, you go and you search for information, and that information allows you to make the right decisions, or it entertains you with whichever thing you're trying to do. The business has been able to grow primarily through advertising. What that means is when somebody is searching for anything, any product or any person, we're able as a company to show ads alongside whatever people are searching for. And the advertisers are now able to match with the right people, and they're able to get their products and services out there. The internet gives you reach. So we have, for instance, as Google, we have something called Getting Kenyan Businesses Online. There's a lady that went, she sells cakes in Westlands, and she went and set up a website so that people could go and buy cakes and get them delivered. So when she got her website launched and working, she got more orders from overseas, the US, than she could manage from local. So she actually then shut down her shop to first then do all the cakes, and then start finding a way of changing her business model. So the internet gives you a very interesting and different reach. And it has very, very many interesting opportunities. So how many of you know search engine marketing? Wow, okay. Search engine optimization, real-time bidding? No, okay. Let me tell you, then this is a great time to actually first be in Kenya and to have the opportunity to start getting into that space. Why is that? This is the one way you can begin to reach your customers almost immediately. Whether it's at night, during the day and wherever your customers are, whether they're overseas or whether they are local, whatever device that they are actually using, you're able to reach them. So some of the key businesses that exist help businesses build websites. And I can tell you this is a massive opportunity right now for any business that's going to build websites. The second thing on top of building the websites is then getting the websites ranked or put on the net so that when people search, they're able to find that business. I'm trying not to be very technical, so the process I want you to go through is to understand how we started and how we are in the process growing to where social media becomes quite key and what it then means for us as
So the internet, if you're going to remember anything about social media, is that number one, it's going to be ubiquitous. Number two is that for business, it's going to become somewhat monolithic. You're already hearing some huge numbers, aren't you? You're hearing that there are millions of people in Kenya who are already using Facebook. There are already millions of people with mobile phones and that sort of thing. Now, you're also hearing that Apple, you know, the people who make this iPad, have 100 billion shillings $100 billion in cash sitting somewhere. I don't know if anybody had that. Did you hear that? $100 billion in cash. That's money for innovation, that's money for research, that's money for... In fact, when Sunny said that they don't know what to do with it, it's true. Because they really don't. Because as we sit in our companies right now, we spend a lot of time doing strategic plans. I have just now returned from doing strategic planning for my company. And as we were sitting there and we were thinking about what is going to change in the world, we realized we can't make a 5-year strategic plan. There's nothing that was true in 3 years ago in my life that is true today with regard to how people interact. And I'm in marketing. There's nothing that is true with regard to how majority of the people interact. In 2009, M-Pesa wasn't what it is now. Now, a majority of the people who have M-Pesa pay for electricity via M-Pesa. That wasn't true 2 years ago. So now, if I'm going to start thinking about my strategic plan, I can only think maximum 1 year ahead. And then, even in that 1 year, I have to plan that things are going to change. So, one other impact that social media is going to have in your businesses and in your lives and in mine is that your strategic plans are going to get way shorter. We're coming to a time when strategic plans are going to be for 6 months. And I am talking about not in the technology space. I am talking about who works in industry. Who works in industry? Who works in a law firm? Architect? Those sort of industries. Who works in a shop? Retail. Men, what do you guys do? You don't sell something, you're not professional. What do you guys do? You know, in all of these things that we take for granted, Nakumatt is not going to operate the way it has been in 1 year. And if it does, within 2 years, you guys are going to start saying, I wonder what happened to Nakumatt. As successful as that business is, as successful as some of your businesses are, if you're not going to get with the program, because those 28 million people that you heard are on mobile phones, the vast majority of them are between 60 and 30. These are the guys. Now, these are the guys who are going to be having money